with liberty and justice for all. These words can be found in America's Pledge of Allegiance. We, the affirmative, contend that the United States federal government should adopt the DREAM Act because fairness and equality are at stake. The DREAM Act, Development, Relief, and Education for Alien Minors, will provide conditional permanent residency to illegal aliens of good moral character who graduate from U.S. high schools, arrived in the United States as minors, and lived in the country for at least 5 years prior to the bill's enactment. Our value premise is fairness and equality. To be fair is to be free from bias, dishonesty, or injustice. This can include fair decisions, views, and laws. We, the affirmative, are arguing that there is a problem with the current views of immigrants. Before going into this, it is important to be clear of what an immigrant is. An immigrant is a person who migrates to one country, from one country to another, usually for permanent residence. When considering the views of many Americans, when one thinks of an immigrant, there is usually a negative idea that is attached to it. This is true of those who come here through application for green cards and those who are illegally brought here against their will. Something that is illegal is forbidden by law or statute. We contend that there is something wrong with the current laws. To label an illegal immigrant as a criminal is not fair. Many illegal immigrants who have been brought here at before the age of 16 have grown into exemplary individuals and have made great contributions to America's society. Does the fact that they have been brought here by their parents as children put them on the same level as murderers and rapists? No doubt you would agree that this is not fair. Approximately 700,000 children were brought here from other countries, not for their own will, but for their parents' will. Many of these children have graduated from high school and have been of good moral character. Unfortunately, these children cannot obtain a college education or join the armed forces because of their immigration status. And therefore could be subject to deportation along with their parents to their native country. Let's look at these immigrants as human beings, not something that could just be moved from one place to another. In 2011, almost 400,000 illegal immigrants were deported. This number includes many people who have been brought here by their parents seeking a better life. Is it fair to send back people who have spent their entire life here? No, it is not. Could you imagine spending your entire life living somewhere, growing to love it and the people in it, and then being asked years down the line to pack up and leave? We contend that not passing this act will harm America. It costs $12,500 to deport one illegal immigrant. As mentioned, in 2011, almost 400,000 illegal immigrants were deported, which cost $5 billion. To deport each and every illegal in this country will cost $137.5 billion. And guess where this money comes from? From American taxpayers. Now, is it fair to send back individuals who are helping us at the cost of American taxpayers? What sense does that make? The money spent for deportation should be spent in education, and the DREAM Act will do this. In a country like the U.S., only 12% of the labor force has less than a high school education. Illegal immigrants have much lower levels of education. About 70% of illegal workers in the U.S. from Mexico lack a high school degree. The DREAM Act would address this. Even underclass jobs have much higher relative wages than those in home countries. Since illegal immigrants often anticipate working only temporarily in the country and they lack the opportunity for advancement. Immigrants today help fill many jobs and contribute to economic growth. According to the President's Council for Economic Advisors, the U.S. natives gain an estimated $37 billion a year from immigration participation in the U.S. economy. 1 in every 4 doctors in the U.S. is foreign-born, as well as 1 in 3 computer software engineers and more than 42% of medical scientists. Now, think of all of the medical and technological advancements that have been made. No doubt passing the DREAM Act will allow more of these advancements to be made because more people will have the opportunity to have the education to do so. They also contribute to the fields of construction, agriculture, maintenance, and hospitals. In the Chicago area alone, undocumented immigrants spend $2.89 billion on goods and services, creating an additional 31,908 jobs in the local economy. Immigration is a significant contributor to the rapid growth of the Hispanic, Asian American consumer markets, which accounted for $1.46 trillion in buying power. If the DREAM Act is passed, more illegal immigrants will have the opportunity to participate in these different areas of work.
Time.
And so.
Okay, we move right into the negative cross. Darian, you're in charge of this.
You talked about dishonesty and how some of these people are good moral character. Don't you think that once they become adults and they stay here, once the children become an adult and stay here, don't you think that that's being dishonest and not being a good moral character? By staying here?
No, not at all. How does the fact that they're brought here by their parents make them dishonest? Especially if they've been raised here. This is all they know.
Yeah, but once they become adults, you know, they no longer have to be controlled by their parents. They should be conscious about the fact that they're committing a criminal act. Well, that they're by being here legally. So, don't you think that they should accept their responsibility?
Not at all, because they live their lives as Americans, and they're following the other laws. Besides the fact that they've been brought here by their parents illegally, doesn't make them criminals, as I have stated already.
So you think that once they become adults, even though they're aware that they're here illegally, that doesn't make them makes them of a good moral character?
Absolutely.
But not dishonest. And what are their contributions?
As I have stated, they contribute to many of the jobs that you and I may not want to do. Many of them contribute to things such as babysitting and working in construction and things like that. So why would they go back? It doesn't make any sense. It's not fair. If I spend my whole life somewhere just because I've been brought here by my parents illegally, there's something wrong with the law, as I've been trying to say. Labeling them as a criminal on the same level as a murderer or a rapist is not fair at all.
But don't you think also that, okay, you said they do construction jobs and all those things, but don't you think that there's not an effect on the economy and you know, by them not paying taxes?
They do actually. Well, through the DREAM Act, they would actually pay taxes. I failed to get to the part because I ran out of time, but undocumented immigrants contribute $7 billion a year in Social Security taxes, even though they cannot claim benefits from the program. So,
thank you. Well done. We have 2 minutes for the negative constructive to gather their resources.